All right, guys, this is the Urban Hub with your girl, the Bronxite Maiden. Well, I'm not really your girl because you don't know me, but you're going to know me after this. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about something that was going on in Twitter and damn near. Oh, by the way, ignore the noise in the background. It's just niggas doing construction outside, and I'm just going to have to deal with it. But anyway, I was on Twitter yesterday and I saw Tevin Campbell trending. My heart damn near fell to my ass. Like, I was like, wait, hold up, hold up, hold up. Why is Tevin Campbell trending? Like, we already lost Aunt Retha. I can't lose no more legends. And despite what people say, Tevin Campbell is a legend to me. Like, I grew up on his music. I think he's one of the best vocalists in the R&B game. For God's sakes, he's like the freaking love child of Stevie Wonder and Quincy Brown and Aretha herself. So I believe he's a legend. But come to find out, Tevin Campbell's fine. Thank God. He's still alive. He's still breathing. He's still kicking. But someone had the nerve to question our legend, Tevin Campbell. Now, the person that was, okay, let me just start from the beginning how this happened. So, a commentator named Luvvie, who I actually like, she's African, I'm African, but that don't really mean anything. But Luvvie is a Nigerian American, I guess social commentator or whatever. I'm not really sure. But on Twitter, she basically, started a conversation, which she wasn't the only one doing this. There was a lot of people also just starting a conversation about who should be the person to give a tribute to Aretha Franklin. A couple of names were thrown around: Fantasia, obviously, Jennifer Hudson, Yolanda Adams, a couple of those people. But someone brought up Tevin Campbell, and Luvvie had the nerve to say something about, kind of just questioning, like, Tevin Campbell, like, under what rock? Something about under what rock would you pull Tevin Campbell to give Aretha Franklin a tribute? Okay, so maybe to some people this won't mean much, but to me, if you are someone who claims to be part of the culture, you should know how important Tevin Campbell is to the culture, at least to me. Like, I think Tevin Campbell is one of the best vocalists of our time. And I was born in 95. I wasn't alive when he was popping, but just someone who loves R&B music and just lives, breathe, and eat R&B music. It would be ridiculous for me not to see the contribution or acknowledge the contribution that Tevin Campbell has made to R&B music. So when she said that, I really had to give it a side eye. Like, bitch, you claim to be from the culture, but are questioning why Tevin Campbell would be someone that would give tribute to Aretha Franklin. Like, Tevin Campbell can fucking blow. Like, I'm talking, I remember hearing him, like, one of the first songs I heard by him was that song Tomorrow. I don't know if you guys remember it, but it was like, I'm not even going, do that to y'all ears. But you remember that song with him? Like, he was very young, and it was Quincy Brown produced the song, and everybody said tomorrow, and just for us. I'm not Whitney, but you get the point. Like, I remember hearing that and being like, yo, this kid could sing. Like, that was, like, I think one of the first songs that introduced him to the world. And then, he came out with the album I'm Ready, I believe. Or, I might be wrong, but I believe that was his debut album. And, of course, Can We Talk, which was in the album. And my all-time favorite song, I'm Ready. Like, I freaking love that song. Like, oh, my God. So I'm surprised that Luvvie, someone who claims to be a part of the culture, would even question Tevin Campbell. Like, she claims that she wasn't questioning his talent, but the fact that you kind of had a shady response when someone mentioned Tevin Campbell shows that you were kind of questioning his talent. And also, it kind of brought up a debate about people in the diaspora who claims to be a part of the culture but aren't really part of the culture. because Luvvie is Nigerian. I believe she was born in Nigeria and moved to Chicago when she was very young. But she's a Nigerian American woman, and she's very proud of that, which she should be. Everyone should be proud of where they're from. But I think some of the things that arised was how you have these people who aren't Black Americans taking part in Black American culture. I think that's what was really be like the undertone, or what frustrated a lot of people, is that you have this woman who isn't a Black American, but she's commentating on Black American culture. And this is something that I'm always stuck in the middle of, because I'm African, but I was born and raised in America, and I'll be lying if I said that I could relate to African culture, because I can't. Like, I was raised here, I was born here. Most of the music that I love is American music created by Black Americans. Most of the movies I love are movies that are centered around Black Americans. And it's always this thing that I'm like, okay, well, technically I'm a Black American, but I'm not. Like, I was born and raised here, but my people aren't the descendant of chattel American slavery, as Seren would say. If you don't know who she is, definitely check out her channel. She's very dope. And, she talks about things like that, like the differences between Black Americans and, Africans from, Africa. And it's something that was brought up, and I'm seeing this being debated more. And I think Luvvie just making this comment kind of like showed that just because you are Black does not mean that you can relate to Black American culture. And, this was just something interesting. I think it was much more deeper than Tevin Campbell. Like, she should have just sat there and ate her food. She had no reason. To me, it was just not necessary. I didn't really see why she had to make that comment. But it definitely brought up a topic that, is being talked about in the internet concerning the people of the diaspora, because it's true. Like, just because we're all Black don't mean we all have the same culture. Like, Africans have their own culture, Caribbeans have their own culture, Black Americans have their own culture, despite what people think they do. We're taking part in their culture right now. Like, I take part in Black American culture every damn day, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm not afraid to say it. Like, oh no, like I do. Like, I listen to hip hop music, which is something that was created by Black Americans and Caribbeans too, because I don't want the Caribbeans to come at me like, oh my God. Like, yeah, I know y'all took part of it too. I know. R&B music, which is an art form that was created by Black Americans, despite what people want to say. Just, the things that I am interested in is things that were created by Black Americans, so I know I take part in their culture. So it's something that should be talked about. I don't think it's, because I do notice that a lot of times Africans or other people of the diaspora, like Caribbeans or whatever, they're afraid to admit that although we all are Black, we're not from the same culture. And I've been watching a lot of Seren's videos, and that's something she talks about. And although she does come off as harsh and does come off, a lot of people don't like her tone and think she's mean, I guess that's what I always see people say. She's mean, she's a bitch. But a lot of things that she say is true. A lot of times as Africans, speaking for myself, even though that it's not something I ever really partook in, I do know that there are a lot of Africans that use the privilege of not being one of those Black Americans and being other, and do use it to their advantage. Like, there are Africans who are Black Americans when it's convenient for them, and then when there's something unflattering about being a Black American, then all of a sudden they're African, all of a sudden they're Nigerian, or Ghanaian or Senegalese or whatever. And that's something that we have to acknowledge, that a lot of times, I'm not saying only Africans, because I've seen Caribbeans do it too, and even some Afro Latinos, that we do use being quote unquote Black American when it's convenient for us, and that's something that we do have to acknowledge. And I think, and I'm kind of happy that Luvvie did make this comment, even though it was a stupid ass comment. And as a fan, someone who is a fan of Tevin Campbell, and it was just like, why? But I'm glad she did make this comment, because it does bring to light that a lot of times, just because someone is Black doesn't mean they're necessarily, not saying that she's not a part of the culture. I don't want to say that, but can be uninformed a lot of times. Because if you really knew about the culture and knew about Black music and Black art, you would know that Tevin Campbell is one of the fucking greats. Like, I love Tevin Campbell. I think he's super dope. That's why when I saw that, I was like, bitch, what the fuck are you talking about? You could have came at anyone you wanted to, but Tevin Campbell, unproblematic Tevin Campbell, that nigga don't do nothing. Like, what is so... There's nothing bad I can really say about Tevin Campbell. Like, he's short. There's nothing really bad you can say about him. The dude is dope. So that just shows you how uninformed she is, and that just shows you that, even with the diaspora, within the diaspora, we do have our differences, and we have to acknowledge that. And Luvvie's tweet kind of brought that to the forefront, even though that's not something she meant to do. She definitely did do that, and someone did point that out to her. I don't have the tweet up. I think it's someone named Mikey. I don't really know, but someone did point that out to her, that she should have just sat there and ate her jollof and not comment on Black American art. And then Luvvie kind of came back defensive, saying, you're coming at me for being African, and I'm not going to tolerate that. And I don't think the, lady who did bring that up was coming at Luvvie being African. She was just saying, you're an African woman who wasn't born here and probably wasn't raised on R&B music like that. Therefore, it's not your place to talk about who should or shouldn't give Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul, a tribute. And I think that's a legit argument. Like, if you wasn't raised on R&B music, then you can't really speak on really anything about R&B music. Like, I was raised on R&B music. My parents loved R&B music. They were African, but they loved R&B music, and that was mostly... This shit is getting on my nerves. I'm about to, bang on the wall and tell them to shut up. But because my parents did love R&B music, I loved R&B music, and, and I studied it as much as I could. And if Luvvie, didn't take the time to study R&B music like that, then maybe she shouldn't speak on it. But I just want to know what you guys think. Like, how did you feel about it? Like, do you think Tevin Campbell can give Aretha Franklin a dope tribute? How did you feel about Luvvie's tweet? Do you think people of the diaspora should wait? Well, I'm saying of the diaspora, like Black people aren't a part of the diaspora, but do you think non-Black Americans should comment on Black American art like that? And just whatever that's on your mind, just tell me what you think. All right, bye.